Now, if you'll excuse me, I still have some work to do.
Daddy, would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages? Daddy, would you like some sausage? Sausages, sausages.
How's it going, guys? Welcome to a new episode of Flopbuster. This week we're covering the infamous, terrible, most hated comedy, I guess you could say, of all time, Freddy Got Fingered. And we also have a very special guest on this week, somebody who's an expert on this movie and all things terrible. My uncle, Leo. We brought an expert, just like how we had an expert on for Batman and Robin. Right. We now have an expert for Tom Green's masterpiece.
His odious whatever.
Magnum opus. Magnum opus.
That's fucking rough if that's what he... Can I swear it?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's get started.
That's fucking rough if, like, Tom Green will just be remembered for Freddy Got Fingered. That's fucked up, man.
I think that's how he'll be remembered.
I mean, jeez.
Or Drew Barrymore's husband.
Drew Barrymore's ex-husband. I had no idea she was in this either.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you didn't know that?
I've only seen clips of this movie, and I've seen reviews of people call it the worst thing of all time. So I was like, okay, like, you wanted to watch it, and I said, I know about this movie, and I know people hate it, but I know it has a cult following.
There was a critic that called it the second worst thing that happened in 2001.
See, man, I don't know, man. It came out in 2001. This movie came out before its time, man. He was ahead of his time with this movie. And I'm not like saying that either as like a
backhanded sort of, yeah.
Yeah. But like at that time, I just think he was too fucking weird for that. You know, if this movie would have came out like in 2013 or even 2015, like when you guys ever watched Tim and Eric?
Yeah.
Like if it would have came out like during that time, I think it would have been seen as different. You know? He jerks off a fucking horse 5 minutes into the movie.
Yeah, not even 5 minutes.
And he really jerked off that horse.
No, I see what you mean. It definitely falls in line with like Eric Andre, Tim and Eric. Yeah. So I could see it. I mean, like I said, it's got a big cult following. I don't think I was ready for what was happening. Like, I was with the movie when it started. I'm like, okay, we're doing this. He's kind of doing like an Andy Kaufman sort of thing, just like going for it. And then he just starts screaming nonstop, and he doesn't stop. He doesn't stop screaming throughout the entire movie, and then Rip Torn screaming throughout the entire movie, and then it just ends.
Well, it ends, you know, now he jerks off the elephants when it ends.
It's just them screaming at each other until the end. And I was like, okay, like, there's a lot of stuff that works here. And there's a lot of stuff where I'm like, man, I can't imagine the person that gave this lunatic $14 million.
Fox.
You guys forget.
Well, Disney now.
How old are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm 37.
See, I'm 39. You're
I'm
14,
young,
man.
yeah.
Like, you don't fucking, like, Tom Green, he wasn't, okay, like, he was awful even back then. but like, this is a really hard movie to talk about. But also, so like, let me even give you an explanation. The movie is a hero's journey, man. It's about a guy who leaves home to go find what his destiny is. Smacked back down to earth because he's not good enough, so he has to go through trials and tribulations to finally find his masterpiece and complete his hero's journey. Man, you know what I mean? Like he had to like go to Hollywood. His dreams of being an animator were crushed. Go back home, live with his horrible father, who you guys aren't seeing the outline trauma that Tom Green's character is playing here.
So this is just a performance art piece about his daddy issues to his dad? Probably to his real dad.
Yeah.
Like, his
father's this awful man, and Tom Green has to escape into a fucking, like he has to disassociate from reality.
I don't think his dad was that bad. He was very supportive at the beginning. He even gave him a LeBaron.
Only to get rid of him.
Yeah, because he was 27, living in his basement or in his house.
I wish I was 27, living in my parents' basement.
The beginning of this movie, I thought, watching it, was a dream sequence. Because things were going so well for him. And I was like, okay, like, what's going on here? And I was like, oh, no, this is how the movie starts. And that's when I was like, this is just, like, a bunch of surreal comedy pieces. Like, he's swinging the fetus, the baby around in the hospital. And so just crazy stuff. And it's... Yeah. He definitely goes for it.
Well, he does the Revenant before the Revenant was even a thought. Yeah. When he goes inside was it the deer, the elk?
Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, you know what part I really saw myself when I was watching it last week? Because, I didn't even feel good about watching it. I was just like, this is fucking rough. But there was a part where his brother is in the fucking home for children, and they're all, like, really supportive, and all of a sudden they cut to the TV, and they're fucking watching, like, hardcore fucking, like just horror movies. And they're watching, like, just, like, this woman being, like, murdered, and all the kids are watching it, and I was like, this is fucked up. This is really fucked up.
Yeah, it was, I felt dirty watching this movie. Like, when I was done, I was like, I should shower. It was bad.
There's a point in the movie where Victoria thought I was watching, like, porn really loud on the TV. And it's with his girlfriend, Betty. The crippled girlfriend. He goes to her house for the first time, and she likes to be whipped on the kneecaps. Yeah. And she's, like, enjoying it, and she's screaming so loud. And that scene goes on for at least three minutes or so. It goes on way too long.
I was surprised how much of a romantic he was, right? Because he's like, all she wanted to do was give him blowjobs. And then he finally is like, can we go out on a date? Like, can I take you out? Like, I like the blowjobs, but I want to take you out in public.
The ratio was off, he said.
Yeah, like, he was a romantic at heart.
See, man, like, I just think that poor Tom Green in this movie was just, he was a man trapped in the wrong time, man, in the wrong era. You know, like, if that movie would have came out now, I think people would have felt differently about it.
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
You don't think so?
No.
There's a lot. I mean, you bring up Tim and Eric, and I feel like that stuff works because, I mean, on Adult Swim, that brand, again, Eric Andre, that stuff, like, it works. The way they deliver it works. And I think Tom Green, he goes for it. He definitely swings for the fences. But when I watch Tim and Eric or Eric Andre, I don't sit there and go, I feel uncomfortable, like I should shut this off right now.
Really? You didn't feel uncomfortable about Tim and Eric's $1 billion movie when all those children are shitting in a bathtub?
I love that scene.
Like that, dude, here's the thing, like, if Tom Green was on Adult Swim now, or back when Tim and Eric were on there, he would have gathered his following, he would have made this movie, and it would have been just, I think, just the same as Tim and Eric's $1 billion
maybe
movie.
with less rapey undertones.
See, I think Tom Green had his audience and had his people, because he had the Tom Green Show on MTV, he had Road Trip, he did a couple movies before this, so, like, he had his audience, he had his people, which was, like, white skateboarding kids from suburbia that loved Tom Green.
I think when this movie came out, they had just slipped away from him. Because when this movie came out, that's when Jackass came out. And all the kids were like, oh, Jackass is better because these kids are really hurting themselves. And they narrowly missed Tom Green. He had narrowly missed.
Right. Because Fox gave him $14 million to do this movie.
Yeah.
And direct it. And I think they were scared because he did 90... I think he did all his stunts. I saw something said about 90 to 95% of the stunts he did himself. All the skateboarding, everything he did himself. So,
you know, Roger Ebert said sitting through this movie was worse than him getting throat cancer.
Oh.
Yeah. So, I mean,
what if the movie gave him throat cancer?
it's a possibility. I mean, at the time this came out like right around when Battlefield Earth came out. And there was, like, a debate on which one was the worst movie of all time.
I saw this movie in the theater. I saw this movie in the theater. Yeah.
I think I saw it when it came out to Blockbuster, and it said Freddy Got Fingered, and I was like, all right, let me watch this.
I've only known about it from its repertoire, and sitting down for the first time this week, I don't know if I would have enjoyed this growing up.
I think I enjoyed it back when I was in my early 20s more than I did now when I'm 37.
I think when I saw it, I was like, I don't know about this, But I dragged my cousin Aldell to see it, and he fucking hated it.
Yeah, this seems like a movie Adele would have hated.
And even when we left, I was like, I'm really sorry. Like, I didn't really feel good about it either. Yeah. So fucking bad.
So, there's a couple of actors in here that they have pretty good reputation. And for the most part, Anthony Michael Hall. I'm about to get to him. So everybody in this movie, like Rip Torn, you kind of feel bad for them. We're like, oh man, like why did they do this? Drew Barrymore makes sense. She was married to the guy. Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh yeah, Shaq.
He should have fired his agent in the early 2000s. He came out in Kazam. He came out in Steel. He came out in this movie. 3 of those have been known for like the worst of all time of the worst of all time.
Except Blue Chips. Blue Chips was really fun.
Yeah, Blue Chips
That's like one of his most like acclaimed movies.
But all he did was play basketball. He didn't really act.
Nick Nolte did most of the acting.
Yeah.
In that, yeah.
I would argue that Freddy Got Fingered is better than both Steel and Kazam.
I like Kazam.
Oh, I don't know. Superhero Shaq. I mean, you can't go wrong with him.
It's John Henry Irons, man. It's
Right.
first black superhero on screen.
But they could have gotten him a better mom than at least to like lay up in bed with. The better white mom.
So she was in she was in Addams Family. So she's another actress that's done a lot of comedies, especially stuff like this. She's always played that type of role. But mainly, like I think of guys in this movie again, like Anthony Michael Hall, who he's funny enough in it. But I'm wondering what like drew them to this script. I want to know, how did Tom Green pitch this to the studio? I know he had the Tom Green show, but what was it about this movie?
I think Anthony Michael Hall, I think it was his friend.
Was he his friend?
Yeah. And also, I think Rip Torn. If anybody is a victim here, it's Rip Torn.
Yeah.
Well, they had offered the role of the father to Gene Wilder and Jerry Seinfeld's dad, and they both said no because the script was disgusting.
I could see Jerry Seinfeld in this.
Me too.
And I think I would love it if he wasn't.
Or the father?
As the father, I feel like that would be insane. It would be great. He's so good at those kind of roles, but Rip Torn, like you could tell, like he's trying, but it's like I feel bad that he's in this scenario. He's playing a character that's accused of raping his child. I mean, that's the whole.
That's the whole thing, but you know what though?
That's rape.
I feel like it plays such a small part in the whole overall movie. I mean, it's the movie's title, right? Freddy Got Fingered. And then it feels like it just played for like 10 minutes, and then that was it. Like it was just Tom Green just trying to find his way to become an animator and his fight with his father.
That's like the last. So like the last act, that's like 7 minutes of the last act before the whole Pakistan plot and stuff.
Isn't it odd how that movie could never have been made today?
No.
Also, a lot of the dialogue, like they use the F slur, I think a couple of times.
A lot.
The dad does say, quoting the movie here, he does say retard, quite a bit.
Even the part in Pakistan is kind of like, you can't do that.
He called the woman in the wheelchair like a wheelchair, like R word. It's messed up, man.
He called her a slut whore too, I think, at one point.
and then there's a jerking off of animals. Like I know for a fact because I saw a behind the scenes on MTV where Tom Green was holding that horse's penis and jerking it off. Like, that is a real... He molested that horse screen.
Well, the whole Tom Green show was him molesting animals and other people. I mean, even there's a rap... Eminem even says it on, on one of his rap songs. It's cool for Tom Green to hump a dead moose.
Yeah, that's right.
I personally think
I remember that.
He should be in jail. I personally think...
I mean, would you consider it interspecies erotica?
Probably. I guess if you're...
No, man, like, Tom Green got his... He got his in the end, man. He just became some forgotten weirdo in Hollywood.
He did one of my favorite movies, Bob the Butler.
Really?
No, I don't know. Just some random movie I saw on Wikipedia. I've never seen it.
Actually, he went on to do a pretty decent movie like a year or two later called Stealing Harvard, which is fun.
I remember that.
Because I remember like reading up into this, right? Ebert hated it. It's like on his list of most hated movies of all time. But then he said that looking back onto it after he saw him in Stealing Harvard, that Tom Green could actually act, and if he did something with like where he wasn't like the main star, like he wasn't still in Harvard, then he does a good job. It's just that this movie was just
He didn't
balls to the wall, like terrible.
Like now he doesn't do much of anything. He kind of lives like a very quiet life. And I feel like again, coming from a perspective where I knew the reputation of this movie and watching it, I don't think he's not a funny guy. I just think a lot of the jokes go so far out there that the whole movie doesn't work as a whole.
Right.
Especially with the neighbor too. I was getting some weird pedophilia vibes, and they're fucking constantly abusing that kid.
Oh, the kid! Oh my god, the kid!
Yeah.
How many times could they like injure this 8-year-old kid in different ways?
That was my favorite part of the movie.
Honestly, that's probably the best part of this movie is the creative ways they try to like injure this 8-year-old.
Well, I read this film had an NC-17 rating, and they had to chop it down because at the end, when the kid, it's alluded to that he gets hurt by the propeller, he was going to get his head chopped off on screen. That was going to be the final bit that he finally gets killed. So his head was going to be chopped off by the propeller, and they were forced to cut it.
Yeah, but they didn't cut off the blood, so like they didn't allude it. Like they really went out like, yeah, we killed this kid. There's all this blood.
No, but then the kid
he's
says,
alive.
I'm fine, Dad.
Yeah, he says, I'm fine, Daddy.
Yeah.
Whose blood was it?
I think this movie works well for people that have daddy issues. Mainly men.
Yeah.
So maybe people that love the Joker movie.
Daddy, would you like some sausages?
It's just...
Yeah, man, there's some pretty good bits in that, man. Like when he's like in the shower and snorkeling.
Oh, finding the treasure.
When he's trying to go into the elevator, sneaking in the first time, Japan 74.
Japan 4.
You know what I would love to see? Somebody like the guy that made Midsommar. Because this movie has a lot of weird, almost horror-level tones to it. I want to see like Ari Aster make a sequel to Freddy Got Fingered. But I want it in the style of Midsommar or Hereditary.
What if it's Freddy gets out of the fucking of you know wherever children who are molested end up.
Yeah, it's like him escaping.
And he's all fucked up, man. And the only way you can stop him is Tom Green and his antics.
What if those little kids in the like insane asylum molested Freddy?
Yeah.
And then when he gets out,
I like it.
Yeah.
Because that's all they know.
But,
They've been molested. That's all they know. So they finger him.
Yeah.
You know?
It'll fit that tone perfectly too. You can imagine the trailer. You see the A24 logo. Everybody thinks A24. Like, oh, this is art. And then you just see Tom Green come on screen, and the whole movie it's played straight. Like they don't even go for jokes. It's a straight sequel,
right?
Where it's just straight up horror.
I love seeing stuff like that, man. Like, that's why I think I liked John. Is it the name of it? With Adam Sandler?
Midsommar, yeah.
No, with Adam Sandler, with that movie Uncut Gems.
Oh, Uncut Gems.
That's why I like that so much, because like I love the idea of like the comedian playing the straight man.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, I like that too. So it would be cool to see like Tom Green show up in some fucking A24 film as like a raper or something, you know?
It's a character study. I mean, you could say that this movie's a character study too.
Right.
In its own way, I guess.
I think it is.
Absolutely.
You know, and then it's funny because was it I forget his name, but Finch from
American Pie.
American Pie. He's like,
that's right.
He just has like I mean, like I said before, it's his movie or his name in the title, his character's name in the title. But he's like, what, 10 minutes of screen time?
He doesn't say a word throughout the entire movie. He says like 3 lines.
Right. He's a banker. He lives like a very boring life. He's a banker.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
Then he gets put in that facility for children.
Which he wasn't ever really molested, but that's what they said.
Another unsettling part was when Rip Torn pulls his pants down
and tells him to
fuck me, Friday, fuck me. And you're just like, I don't know about that.
Yeah, see, there's a lot talking about the movie now. They're like, it sounds funny. It's like the jokes second-handed. They sound funny, but when you sit down and watch the movie, it's just like, for a second, like the delivery works, but then they keep going, and it's just like maybe that's what he was going for. I think that's what he was going for.
It's cringy.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like retelling family stories that you and I find funny,
Yeah.
but other people find traumatic. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
You know? Like if you and I were like, oh, remember that one time Dad came home drunk and he punched Mom? That was hilarious. Like we would find it funny because we were there.
But when you watch it from an outsider
But when
perspective,
you
it's just
tell the people, they're like, no, that was straight like.
What's some fucked up family you guys got then?
Yeah, that's some domestic abuse happening in your house. And you're like, nah, you just weren't there. You know?
Like, hey, Mom, remember that one time you punched me in the head because I said you drank too much?
Yeah. One time my mom threw a boombox at me. I can tell that story to everybody. Everybody's like, damn, that's fucked up. But if you know my mom, you're like, I get it.
Yeah, like all Mexicans or Hispanics. Oh, remember that one time Mom threw the chancla at me?
Yeah.
So is this equatable to white people having parents that finger them? I guess.
Yeah, it's all about how you spin the trauma to sound funny. You know,
It's all about the spin.
So Tom Green is just one deeply disturbed person.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Yes.
I think he was like the most disturbed person from the 90s or 2000s, early 2000s.
Now, since we redeem movies on the show, is there anything redeeming about this movie, looking back at it, that you can say has a positive...
Yeah, it killed Tom Green's career.
Other than that, I think it teaches you that if you're a creative, the best way to showcase your art sometimes is to not have to work really hard. It's like, digging your brain for work to produce. Sometimes it's right in front of you, in your own home, in your own life, and that you can turn that into a positive for yourself. You know, sometimes creativity doesn't have to be like you just fucking working in a room alone for 25 hours figuring something out. Sometimes it's right there. Like, use what's around you. I think that's what I got from the movie. I think I might have been a little bit too high when I saw it the second time. but that's at least the part that I got from it. I'm like, all right, well, that makes sense. I mean, they don't relay that message. You have to get that message out of it. But
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Was there anything positive? Because I know you said you had trouble.
Well, yeah, I had trouble getting through it. But as far as like positivity in it, I thought one of the most positive things I could say about the movie was it had heart. I mean, you could tell Tom Green put his heart and soul into this movie. Yeah. He really wanted it to make it work. Now, is it everybody's brand of comedy? No, it's not. There is, people that do love this movie, and it does have a cult following.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So in somebody's eyes, it's not a terrible movie. In
Right.
somebody's eyes, it's a really funny movie. It's just not in my eyes, but like I could see it for its heart and soul. I could see it for what Tom Green wanted to put into it. So
Yeah.
The movie goes for it. Like, I was sitting there and I was like, okay, I don't know if I enjoy it or not, but it's like entertaining to watch. Like, I wasn't bored. Right. It was just like, I can't believe half the shit that this guy's doing. Like, aside from fondling animals to the rapey undertones, the poor child that lives across the street from him.
Well, his buddy with the broken bone.
The broken bone that he licks his wound and stuff.
And the girlfriend who probably has some
issues.
Deep-rooted issues.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Everybody in this movie, I would say Rip Torn, I would say probably the most normal character in the movie.
Yeah. Well, which is funny because, there is a N-17 cut that he says, he always claimed that he was going to do a director's cut for this movie.
Yeah.
But Fox never released the extra scenes, and then he's been struggling to find these scenes now, or struggling for them. Now Disney owns them. So I don't know. I don't think Disney's ever going to give him the scenes to do a producer's cut.
Put it in HBO Max.
Like a director's cut for it.
A Criterion Collection edition.
The 4-hour cut. It'll be like the Snyder cut, but for Freddy Got Fingered.
Shout Factory presents the director's cut.
Yeah.
Dude, when he's in the conveyor belt in the cheese sandwich factory, and he's just slapping some lady in the face with the fucking salami.
Well, besides the salami part, that was like an homage to Laverne and Shirley's show from back in the 60s or 70s, whenever that show came out.
Yeah, and they took that from like I Love Lucy and stuff. So
Right.
yeah, no, I think obviously we're all in agreement. He's funny and he goes for it.
He goes for it. And in fact, those cheese sandwiches is actually a fan. It's like he brought in like a fan's input because some fan always talked about cheese sandwiches to him. And so he actually put that in his movie. So they're like, it's cool as a fan that he interacted with his fans and he knew what they wanted. That's why I said it's like he had a fan base, he had a following. He knew what they liked, and so he put all of that into it.
It's really interesting. Like we were saying, like we all agree that Tom Green is funny. Like he's really funny in what's that movie he was in? The college one.
Road Trip, right?
Oh, well, there's Road Trip, and then there's Chasing Harvard.
He's really funny in Road Trip, and then we get a whole Tom Green movie, Freddy Got Fingered, and we're just like at the end you're like, I'm done. It's enough. It's almost like he's one of those actors who needs to be directed and given in little spurts in order to be enjoyed as a whole. You know,
right?
And too much Tom Green is bad for you.
It's like Pauly Shore.
It's like so much green is bad for you. Hey, you take that back about Pauly Shore.
I like Pauly Shore and Encino Man. That's about it.
I like all of Pauly Shore, and that's going to be some other episodes.
Biodome?
I don't like Biodome.
He hates Biodome.
I do not like Biodome.
You're out of my fucking family, man. You're a piece of shit.
That movie is
Biodome
terrible.
is fucking amazing.
In fact, I would rather watch this over Biodome.
Well, no.
Yes.
What?
I would rather watch it.
Sense.
No.
What's so bad about? We're gonna do a Biodome episode.
Biodome sucks, and I met Stephen Baldwin, and he sucks too.
We need to do a Biodome episode now because you need to watch that.
Can I be invited for the Biodome episode because I'm going to save Biodome.
I will rewatch it if we do an episode on Biodome. I will rewatch Biodome, and if it changes my mind, I haven't seen it in about maybe 3 years. I watched it once, then I'll give it a chance. But I'm pretty sure I still hate it.
All right, we're gonna do it.
We'll do it. We'll bring Leo back on for the Biodome episode down the line.
Good.
Any other closing thoughts on the movie?
No, I think I mentioned everything all before. It's a terrible movie with heart and soul in it. That's all I got to say about it.
What about you, Leo?
I like what he said, that it's not a good movie, but he's right. Like, they gave a guy a chance, and he might have poo-pooed on whatever they gave him, but, like, he probably had a lot of fun in making that. So that's the heart and soul that he put in there, yeah.
I think that's giving him too much credit about the heart and soul stuff.
Oh.
I do think maybe he should reach out to his dad, maybe call his dad. Maybe this was a movie meant for his dad. That's what I got from it. So all those people out there that have a really terrible relationship with their fathers, maybe this is a movie you could bond over.
I don't know, man. You confuse me a lot because, like, you'll love, like, a lot of movies, and then it's, like, a few you don't like at all, and I'm just like, but you liked Birds of Prey. Like, how did you know?
Birds of Prey is, like, pretty standard superhero stuff. It's entertaining. It's from point A, point B, point C with Margot Robbie. I'm not going to sit there and hate watch Birds of Prey. But this movie I will hate on because Tom Green was, about 20 minutes in, I was starting to get annoyed with it. But
Fair. That's fair. Fair enough.
We'll see what Biodome has to offer, and I'll stack up those two because I feel like I don't know if it's gonna get worse than this on the show.
The Biodome is a masterpiece compared to this.
Okay, I guess we'll see.
Can I give a quick plug to my show?
Yes.
Cool. Guys, if you enjoyed listening to me, just say whatever. I have a paranormal supernatural show with my best friend John Michael Lennon called The Broken Reality. You guys should check it out on iTunes, Spotify, all that stuff. And I will definitely plug. When does this show come out? Monday?
We're gonna do this Monday. Yeah, release Monday.
Cool. So I will plug you guys next week, and then maybe we can figure out something to do, a fun Halloween thing when Halloween comes up.
Oh yeah.
Maybe we can talk about some Halloween movies or something. The four of us. I think that'd be a good like cross episode thing.
Crossover.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So check us out, The Broken Reality, with me, Leo Perez, and John Michael Lennon, every week, Spotify.
Awesome. You want to close this out?
Yeah. So thank you everybody for watching Flopbuster. For me, Tony, Leo, Japan 47.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. See you next time.